So here we are. For beginners particularly, it's Jargon Buster. And the first thing up is this item here. It's the thing that couples the caravan to the car. And it's called a lot of words. If you look at a technical sheet, it's called a coupling head. We often call it a coupling hitch. All modern caravans nowadays have mains supply. And the unit that it goes through, the control thing, is known as a consumer unit. And this is one which I purchased to fit in a garage. It's a commercial one used in houses. Normally in caravans, the consumer unit is a little smaller. And this is one that came from a caravan. And now we get into the funny buzzwords. Over here are things called MCBs, miniature circuit breakers. Well, I remember on consumer units in houses when they used to be rewirable fuses. And if something was consuming too much electricity because it had gone wrong, it would set this off and you'd have to rewire it. So these came on instead. Miniature circuit breakers. It trips out if there's a problem and you can reset it yourself. Now there's a little bit more on that consumer unit because there's a master switch, and that master switch is also part of the RCD. Sorry, the what? It's the residual current device. And this also trips out, and it does that in a case of emergency. If anybody who is considering things that run from here, like the sockets, like appliances, on the mains lead, and they're wondering what to switch on, and for some funny reason they touch a 230 volt live wire, it could cause a fatality. And so this, on noting that there is something wrong, in less than a second, in 40 milliseconds, it switches out. So that's the RCD, and it's different from MCBs, but it's mighty important. Electricity, it sounds silly, but let's turn to water. Most modern caravans that are in the less expensive range use a submersible pump, and many of you may have seen these already. They're lowered into the water container. You may shake them around to dismiss any kind of catching bubbles, any airlocks. And there's a paddle wheel in the bottom, and this spins round and it pushes the water along the pipe. That's why some people refer to them as pusher pumps, but they're really better called submersibles. If you've got a more expensive caravan, then you'll be told that you've got a diaphragm pump. And you might think, what on earth is a diaphragm pump? Well, here it is, and it's more expensive, it's heavier, it can be noisier, but my word, it has a good output. They are usually repairable if they go wrong. Oh, one last tip, if they get a bit noisy, it's usually because they've been screwed down too tightly on their little rubber feet. And it's not too difficult to amend that. So there are some words, and let's just sum up what we've covered. It's Jargon Buster. We've talked about the coupling head. We've talked about the consumer unit. We've looked at the items on the consumer unit, the MCB, the RCD. We've gone on to the submersible pump and the diaphragm pump, and on the home page of the caravanchannel.co.uk you'll see videos under caravan basic titles where you can find out an awful lot more. So, Jargon Buster, I hope that was helpful.